Hello, I'm Professor Kozlowski. Next few minutes, I'm going to give you an idea of how to research and access court opinions using LexisNexis Academic. And you can see I have my Mason webpage up on the screen. And for a number of the law-related courses that I teach, I use actual opinions from the courts or articles that I've written on various legal aspects in recreation and parks administration. And on my webpage, there's a link to an archive of these articles. Started out in 1982 to the present. And the process I'll be describing, for the most part, is used to find these particular cases that were written up and described in my monthly law columns, many of which have been incorporated into my courses here at George Mason University, involving legal topics. So it's fairly simple, but it takes some practice, and once you get used to it, you'll be able to generate quite a bit of material on a particular legal topic of interest to you. Oftentimes you'll find that what you expect to find a lot of cases, you might not, it's like fishing, you might not come up with many results, or you'll have quite a few hits, but there's a lot of chaff mixed in with the wheat, so you have to more or less wade through the hits that you get due to your research. So let's get started. Simply start out on the George Mason webpage. Go to academics and then down to libraries. And on the library site, go to L, because we want to go to LexisNexis. And then page down, and you'll see LexisNexis Academic. Click on that. Now, if you're off campus, you may be asked to input, just like you would on your email, your ID and your email password. Then you'll be accessing LexisNexis here. Now, there is a quick lookup section on LexisNexis. And for example, if you know a particular topic, in the past I was looking for cases involving situations, reported decisions stemming from the Occupy Wall Street movement. And if any cases had been reported, because most of these 24/7 demonstrations were occurring in parks and public places. So a quick and dirty way to find those cases, assuming that they'd be the plaintiff in most of these cases, and the name would include Occupy. So Occupy versus City of wherever, and as I recall, I wrote up the case Occupy Fort Myers versus City of Fort Myers. So we put that in the plaintiff's box. Let's see what we get. And you can see here wouldn't be relevant. Right to occupy acres of land. We'll page down. All right, here's something that's promising. Occupy versus LA versus City of LA, California, from February 6, 2012. Let's take a look at that and see if it's promising. Not much there. Looks like it had been decided on. Some of these cases will just indicate some procedural results. Let's go back to our results list. Here's another one, Occupy Columbus versus Haley. And we have two hits there. Let's see if they're the same date, December 22nd. Yeah, so these are the same date, December 22nd, 2011. and see if this is any more promising. Okay, this sounds good. Sleeping, camping, emergency preliminary injunction. This is a constitutional law case. These are the core terms. Here's a hit to the prior case that brought this, and we're dealing with the District of South Carolina, Federal District Court. And here we have the opinion. So this would look promising. Now again, there's a lot of legal gobbledygook, but if you read through a number of these cases, you can start to understand it in the context and get an idea of how this would work. Here we have another case after the Haley case, Tucson versus City of Tucson. And let's see on that one. Something to do with animals, golf courses, but it's an Occupy Tucson. The background, the participants in a movement of Occupy Tucson, affiliated with Occupy Wall Street. They claim that a violation of the First Amendment. So that gives you an idea of the kinds of cases. We got a Wilson versus Occupy Philly. Looks promising. Fresno County case. Let me see if we can find the case at Occupy Minneapolis versus County of Hennepin. And we got 25 hits. You can see these cases started to come out more or less fast and furious once they got started. City of Rochester and like. Now I don't see the case that I reported, but let's go back. We'll edit the search, and I know the case I looked at involved Fort Myers, Florida, and we'll see if we have any better luck there bringing that case up. No documents found. Okay, we'll edit the search. Perhaps the okay, we've got quite a bit here. Let's try something a little different. We'll go back and we'll go to U.S. Legal, and federal and state cases. We'll leave all of the all available dates, but we know it's within the last, let's give us some leeway here. 2 years, and we'll put Fort Myers. Let me see, I'm probably not spelling it right. That might be one of our. And let's try camping. But here we want not everywhere, we want a party name. And let's see if this gives us any better luck. Okay, here it is, Occupy Fort Myers. And this was the Occupy case that I wrote up in one of my articles. An ordinance involving a public forum. This is a constitutional law case. So you can see it's fairly straightforward. Let's try a new search. And one of the issues that was brought up in terms of playground liability. And the Consumer Product Safety Commission, sometimes referred to as CPSC, put out public playground safety guidelines in this area. Now you could add terms and public playground safety guidelines. And generally, if someone's hurt in a playground accident, the allegation is going to be negligence. And data would suggest that 70% of all playground accidents are attributable to falls. So let's just put fall. And we'll just go again with the last 2 years. We're interested in recent developments. See what we get here. Well, again, it's like fishing. Sometimes you don't get what you would expect. Always check your spelling. Let's drop out. We'll just try CPSC negligence. And here we'll change it to playground. And see if we have any better luck this go around. Okay, we got 4. All right. And if I recall correctly, at least some of these cases made the article I wrote up on playground falls. Now, when you see your list, you can put an expanded list, and that'll show you the number of times your terms came up. So here we've got fell from a playground equipment. You can see this looks pretty promising in terms of the expanding list. Here, fell from a 6-foot ladder on a playground. That again seems to look promising. Also refers to the CPSC guidelines that we were talking about. Here's another one. Monkey bars removed from the playground. Failure to maintain it. So you can see here we've got a nice little list of playground negligence issues involving the Consumer Product Safety Commission guidelines. So just on those 4 particular cases, quite a bit of relevant materials on that issue. Now, if I want to look at those in toto, I just click on Cite and go down. Now, the material up front, case summary and alike, and sometimes there'll be Lexis, Nexis head notes and alike. That's a helpful resource, but that's not primary material. The actual court decision does not kick in until after it shows the opinion, the judge's name. So here's where the actual opinion would start. So you wouldn't want to be using as your source of your citing material from the articles from the research aids provided by LexisNexis. You want to go to the actual opinion of the court that starts after the judge's name. And you can see your terms that you use for your research are in bold. We used playground, negligence, and alike. Let's do another search. We'll start a new search to give an example of things you can do along these lines. And let's say I'm looking for the last 6 months, and I'm most interested in cases involving parks and recreation departments. But some of them have a little different terminology. So I'll just put within 2 words, parks, within 2, recreation. And those will be the party names. So I want to see what cases come up with, Jones versus Department of Parks and Recreation or alike in any jurisdiction. Now you can limit it by jurisdiction, by state or just the Supreme Court and alike. Here I'm casting a wider net. I'm really looking for all types of cases. What's hitting the street involving parks and recreation departments. So let's see what we get for the last 6 months. You can see we get quite a bit, and I recognize first case up, the City of Fairborn decision, which again I wrote up in one of my columns monthly columns, and this involved constitutional law case at an annual festival. And someone was distributing religious tracts and was told not to do so. You can see the core terms, public forum, and the restrictions. This all involves narrow tailoring. This is a constitutional law case. Let's go back to our, let's try that again. We lost our list. So we've got, and again, we can expand the list to give us a better idea of what's going on. If I recall, this Johnson case, this involved some sort of a constitutional law case. Yeah, it was a festival booth. An earlier case was the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender pride event. And this is the latest decision. This is out of the District Court of Minnesota. Let's go back to our results list. And you can see it gives you a start, and the devil's in the details, but it gives you a way to find cases, access court opinions. You can do it by jurisdiction, by parties, by dates. There's quite a bit of flexibility. We're just talking about cases, but in the future, put together some information regarding all of these other materials in addition to searching for cases, looking for statutory materials out of the state codes or the federal code. So that sort of sums it up, quick and dirty review, how you can access and find cases using LexisNexis Academic. I'm Professor Kozlowski, and we'll see you next time.